Hey guys, I'm back with another video. We've had this conversation quite a bit on my stream, and I thought it would actually make an interesting video to talk about TBC and why I think one minor change would make a massive difference towards the upcoming TBC release. Now, will Blizzard look into this or actually make a change like this? Probably not, but I think it's something that would actually make a monumental difference that really wouldn't take much effort or take much away from the game at all. Now, if you haven't noticed yet, on the classic roadmap, we are getting a TBC that is either in winter or next year of 2026 in the spring. Now, for some reason, a lot of old Wowhead or just WoW boomers deny that there's a lot of new players playing the game. For some reason, they call it copium. I'm not sure why. But there's a lot of new players playing the game, whether you like it or not, either on Dream Scythe, Night Slayer, EU, AU, or on Doom Hell Hardcore. And a lot of people are looking forward to TBC. And there's a lot of people that are looking forward to it for a lot of reasons, simply because they're enjoying Classic and they want to see what TBC, which, at least in my opinion, is the pinnacle of WoW. And then you have Wrath right there, right next to it. I think the minor change that would make a massive difference for TBC is changing the rep required for the heroic dungeons, where you need revered, but maybe change it to honored. And there's a couple reasons why I think that. And I think a lot of new people are excited for TBC, but they don't really actually know how much of a grind TBC is, especially in those first two phases. And a lot of that grind is not only professions, but grinding that rep to get revered so you can use the heroic key. So for people that don't know what I'm talking about, when you go into TBC to do the heroic dungeons, everyone in the group needs to be at least revered with the certain rep in order to get the key for the heroic dungeon. So for example, if you want to do heroic Shattered Halls or heroic Blood Furnace or heroic Hellfire Ramparts, you have to be revered with Thrallmar in order to get the key to do that. And everybody in your group needs to be revered for that key. So with TBC coming out now, you can only imagine what it's going to be like. And people are just going to spam 5-man dungeons to level fast. But also, because you do get rep from those dungeons, they're trying to get revered as quick as possible. And I think it's really going to take away from one of the best parts of TBC, which is the open world. TBC gives us some great quest lines, some great zones that are awesome, that are going to get missed, especially by a lot of these new players, because they're going to be forced into the meta of spamming dungeons. And I think if you simply change from revered to require for the heroic key to honored, it would really allow people to kind of explore the open world more and really appreciate TBC instead of spending that first phase just grinding. To kind of follow with what I was saying, I feel like a small change like that would really get people out of that grind mindset and really get them to step back and enjoy the game. As I've said before, I do think a lot of new players are starting to fall off simply because they've watched streams, they've watched content, and they think they can just show up to raid and have a good time without doing a lot of the prereqs as far as, farming herbs and buying potions and having flasks and things like that, especially on the hardcore side of things. I think a small change like that would get people to continue playing without feeling grindy, because let's be honest, I think after phase 2 at TBC, the game gets really, I don't know if lackadaisical is the right word, but you're allowed to basically kind of just have multiple tunes, show up to raids when you want. And I think that's great for a lot of players. And I think that's one reason why, including the small raid size, is why people really do enjoy TBC. And let's look at it from a Blizzard or a business perspective as well. If you kind of take out some of the grindy and less people are burned out, that means more, what they love the most, their moolah, more sub money. And I think a small change like this would actually make a massive difference and really reduce the amount of burnout in players. Again, do I think this is something that would really happen? No. But I think it does bring up an interesting conversation. And I do think it would allow people to really enjoy TBC without making it feel grindy. I mean, again, we have a conversation like this all the time in my stream where really phase 5 of Classic, the AQ phase, is when people really start to burn out or they start to really lose the game, or love for the game, I guess. And they kind of wake up and they're like, why am I even playing Classic anymore? Like, why am I even doing this? And I think a lot of people don't really understand that TBC honestly might even be a bigger grind than Classic. Well, now, granted, you get rid of world buffs, and you get rid of the whole sitting around Ogrimmar or Stormwind for buffs. You get rid of that. That's nice. But really, phase one and phase two is a really big grind. I mean, alone, you got warriors that need to be doing blacksmith for Dragon Strike. You got all the reps, all the professions, all the, jewel crafting, things like that. TBC phase one and two is a massive grind, and I don't think a lot of people are really prepared for that. I think doing something simply as lowering the rep required for the heroic key from revered to honored allows people to get out of the dungeon spam phase and to explore the open world, because I mean, the open world, you still get rep for doing the quests and things like that as well. And I think that'd be a great way for people to kind of enjoy TBC for what it is. I mean, it does have great dungeons, it's got great raids, the end game content is really good. A lot of people appreciate that, shamans are a lot more effective, and obviously the alliance side gets them too. Blood Elf Paladins, you get, shadow priests are a little more viable, hunters are insane, warlocks get really good. To be honest, I think the really only class that takes kind of a step back, in my opinion, is rogue. But from a PvE standpoint, that is. And I think just doing a simple change like this would make a massive difference for the game. And it really wouldn't affect much, and it really wouldn't hurt anybody's experience with the game. I think a small change of taking the revered to honored would allow people to not feel like they have to spend 8 or 9 hours of their game time just spamming 5-man dungeons with some friends, when they can, they don't have to feel like they have to do that to get the rep. They can get the rep from just questing and enjoying the world. And I think a lot of new players would enjoy that, because a lot of new players are going to watch these videos, they're going to watch the metas, they're going to see other streamers, content creators spamming these dungeons when that's not really the whole game. I really enjoy the TBC open world, and I mean, just something to think about, and something I thought that would be a kind of cool conversation video. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys another time.